Welcome to Genru Arts, Taiko Kata 1, Sukeroku stand style for Bon Daiko. You can find us online at genruarts.org, how to make a practice taiko using a boxer bucket, along with this video of short history about Bon Daiko and the activity that follows. So hope you can join us on our website, but I hope you enjoy it in this share. So Bon Daiko comes from the word obon, and Obon is a Buddhist summertime matsuri festival honoring ancestors. And you can see the Bonadari dancers dancing around the yagara, the raised stage in which the um, lead dancers and or musicians would be playing. And in Obon, they use minyo music. And minyo music is very specifically brought about as a particular song for regions or towns in Japan. It's reflective of the environment that they live in or the activity that they do in that area, such as like Tankobushi is a coal miner's song, dance that came from Mikke town, which was a coal mining town. So that kind of relationship. And in traditional Minyo music, we use instrumentation that contains one of or more of the following: the fue, bamboo flute, shamisen, three-string lute, and vocals, and accompanied by taiko and ataregane. Ataregane is a kind of a bell, and taiko is the drum. Uh, those were the traditional instruments. However, in today's minyo music in Japan, you may see Western instrumentation and maybe a rock version or a different kind of version now. And if you live in California and specifically in Los Angeles, I know at the Venice Buddhist temple in the summertime for Obon, they would use a song from the Beach Boys to dance along with. So let's move on to talking about the Sukeroku stand or diagonal stand. The stand became popularized by the group Oedo Sukeroku Kai back in the 1950s, and we'll get back to talking about them later. But to say that in the minyo songs or music for Obon, that at the Buddhist temples they normally played on the taiko drum at a horizontal position, seated around and placed around at the head height, and or else standing up, and they would use a taller stand to put the taiko drum at head height but at a horizontal. So in the Sukeroku stand style that became popular in the 50s, they used it as a way of moving around, creating more choreography around the drum. So let's talk about Sukeroku. Sukeroku was the name of a kabuki play, and it was called The Flower of Edo, this play. And Edo comes from the name, comes from Edo period, a specific time in Japan and specifically in Tokyo where the arts were flourishing and was kind of the height of the artistry that they were producing at that time. The gentleman there, his name was Sukeroku, so he was kind of an unusual, flamboyant, and handsome man. And you can see him wearing a purple hachimaki headband, which is unusual. And he wore yellow tabi, which tabis are usually white, and they're a kind of socks, but his were yellow, and he carried around a kasa. So he had a very interesting persona. So let's talk about Bondaiko competition that started in the 1950s, I believe, early 1950s. And the competition happened yearly. The competitors would show off their individual choreography, unique choreography that they would create on the Sukeroku stand for Obon. One of the winners was Seido Kobayashi sensei, and him along with four other following years winners would form a group called Oedo Sukeroku Kai, and they We're focused on creating music that specifically used only josuke, the chudaiko middle-sized drum, or featured that drum style on the Sukeroku stand as well as the taller stand. And they used ohayashi rhythmic patterns along with other percussive patterns to create their repertoire. And they were the ones who created a style called nidan or yodan to play on two sides or four sides simultaneously using the the high odaiko stand and the Sukeroku stand. Excuse me. And just to give you a little bit background that I was very fortunate enough to live there in the late 80s in Tokyo and learned from Kobayashi sensei, who popularized the style in the United States on the West Coast in California. So when I lived in Japan, I was fortunate enough to learn from him, his styles and his repertoire, Nidan, along with Sukeroku Matsuri, Bondaiko, and other songs. So thanks to Kobayashi sensei, I am here to share a little bit of his style and form for Bondaiko. Welcome to Kata 1 Sukeroku stand style. We are going to start off by showing you how we use our kata, which is our stance, for playing on the Sukeroku stand or the diagonal stand. So you might have your legs fairly wide apart. I'm going to point them out. I'm left-handed, but I'm hoping you can follow this video as a mirror image. So you'll be using your whatever my left hand, it's your right hand, okay? So front foot is pointed forward, back foot is slightly turned in, and we like to keep our knee above our ankle. Try not to go extend too far over. It's very bad for your knees to do that. If you take in Nihon Buya or martial arts, you probably know some of these things. I know sometimes they do overextend and sometimes we do as well. But for basics, for protection, we like to make sure we keep our knees above our ankle. Okay, so we're going to start off with kamaite, which is the beginning pose. It's a resting position. So with our legs apart, our arms come around, and they go into this position where our inner arm is touching the forearm and our other hand, my left, your right, is doing more like a salute in front. Don't put your shoulders up or your elbow up. Keep them relaxed and down. Okay, so starting again. If we're in this position, kamaite, around, and settle in this way. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to try 3 strikes. You bring your hand back, right hand back, and come in and strike in. You can see that my knees shifted in terms of the weight. My weight now is on my front knee. I'm going to strike in, don, comes back, other hand, don, back, don. Okay, it, ni, san. Here we go. Don, don, don. Okay, when we do this, we also want to keep our upper body relaxed, so my shoulder will come in. I'm not going to strike it in that hard. For Bondaiko, we want to be accompanying the music and not overwhelm it. And so it's more about grace than it is about force. Okay? So going around again, make sure it's not at your legs or behind your legs coming around, but in front of your legs. Kamaite. Hai. And don, don, don. And now we're going to hit on the fuchi. The fuchi is the side of the drum on the top. Kata, ka. So that's the kuchi shoga for hitting the top. Kata, ka. Right, left, right. So 3 strikes. So ich, ni, san. Hai. Don, don, don. Kata, ka. Again. Ich, ni, san. Hai. Don, don,
dun, dun, kata, ka. Let's try a second rhythm pattern. Dun, dun, ha, dun, dun. So it's right, left, back, left, right. Kata, ka. Again, right, left, back, left, right. Kata, ka. Okay, so we're going to try both rhythm patterns. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun, ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. So the tempo and rhythm of it may be different depending on what song you're playing it with. So when you're accompanying the music, it may have a faster beat and it may be more syncopated. So depending on that would change how that sounds. So it could sound like dun, 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 kata, dun, 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 kata, ka, or something of that variations. Bon Daiko, as was in the competition that Kobayashi Sensei was in, it is up to the player in how they approach the music and to show their virtuosity, but it's also accompanying, so you don't want to overwhelm the music. Okay, let's try this one more time and we'll bring in the drum. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun, ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun, ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. Okay, so now let's show you on my practice drum. And I'm going to use shimebachi, so they're a little bit on the shorter side. So I'll be standing slightly closer than usual. So when we do this, I usually tell people you want to be at the top of your drum. Your feet are in line with the bottom of your drum here. And your bachi should be able to touch center. So if my center is like this, that means I'm too close. I want to be able to touch center with my arm extended out. Not extended out this way, but just if my arms were to the side, and I just bring my hand out, touching center. Great. Then we're going to pull our foot back, point our front foot, back foot comes in slightly, and then we go into kaide in this position. Okay, so then that means my bachis always stay in line with the center of the drum. The center of the drum here and going all the way back. My angle of my drum is not as tilted as high, so I'm not going to bring my hand here, but I'm going to bring my hand back over here because that's following in the diagonal line of the drum. Okay, so my Taiko drum, I'm going to do it from this side so you can see a little bit better. And hands are down, so we go into kamaite, back leg out, front leg points forward, arms come around in front of your legs, and into kamaite. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun. Ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun. Ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Dun, dun, dun. Kata, ka. Dun, dun. Ha. Dun, dun. Kata, ka. Great job, guys. So that's just an introduction. It's wonderful to be here for Cherry Blossom. We hope to see you guys all again. See you on our channel if you'd like to check us out at gendoarts.com.